moving and said, oh, it's Biafra. This idiot doesn't know the pig in the creek. He does not know that Frank Opigo was a historian. And what did Chief Frank Opigo discover? He recommended the name, not because it's a John distributory or estuary, no. Because he knew what our name was. Facebook is not happy about this, but I'll tell you. I want to bury his ignorance tonight. Completely and totally. I want to bury the ignorance of the pig in the creek. I want to bury his ignorance about Biafra this night. So next time he will not talk rubbish. I sequencing one after the other. So you understand what I'm saying. Listen carefully, please. The conspiracy did not... You see what the British are doing? It didn't start today. The conspiracy against Biafra goes back almost 300 years, starting from the Portuguese. Starting from Portuguese. It was the Portuguese, it was a Jewish man with the Portuguese that recognized that this is also part of the Jewish family. There was a map drawn up by Robertson of Shoreditch. I've said this before. When there was only Zamfara, Bini, and Biafra. Robertson traveled, he was an explorer, traveled through the desert and came into Zamfara and asked the Zamfara kings, who are the people living over there? The Zamfara kings told him, they are the lost tribe of Israel. I have the map. Now, we proceed carefully and very methodically. The name Biafra came from the Afar region of Ethiopia, the root of the second migration from the land of Samaria. That is the reason why only the Biafran people are light-skinned on the coast of West Africa. Listen to me very carefully. I said, the only place where you can come to and they give birth to somebody who is almost white is only in Biafra land. Because of our bloodline from the land of Samaria, from the land of Ephraim and Manasseh. This is the second wave of the migration, all the way from Kush land. They migrated into Sudan, into Ethiopia, the Afar region of Ethiopia. As they were migrating through that particular route, coming into the Cameroons, they retained their name, the calling of the house of Ephraim and Manasseh. Bia, to call, the calling of the house of Ephraim and Manasseh. They came through Afar. Do you know what happened? Geography tells us that when they were in Cameroon, they were called the Afar people, Biafra, B-I-A-F-A-R. As the migration continued into where we are today, the Portuguese came and recognized who they were. They could not pronounce Biafra. They called them Biafra. Listen very carefully, please. There was a man that wrote something. Because successive kings of England, of Portugal, they suppressed all the information concerning their travel to Africa. They knew who Biafrans were, so they didn't want to write about it. It's in Portugal. Listen carefully, please. So, under the reign of King John II, 1481 to 1495, the Portuguese went to a great length to hide the history of Biafra. I've given you facts and figures, not where water was jumping up and down. The Germans came after them. After that, Manuel I took over and made a royal decree. Anybody found discussing about West Africa and about Biafra will be put to death. These are official Portuguese papers. I know Facebook is going mad by this time. Here we teach history. However, there was a man called Duet Pacheco Pereira who lived from 1460 to 1533. 1460 to 1533. He wrote papers that after his death were published as a collection called the Esmeralda. I want the pig to learn history, not rubbish. I teach you history for free. And as I'm teaching you, I'm giving you references. That is why the name Biafra is sacred to IPOB. None of you know, you don't know nothing about Biafra. You know nothing about it. All of you. Tonight I teach you what it means to be a Biafran. He wrote papers. He lived from 1460 to 1533. Those papers were called Esmeralda. It included writings on Africa and the Americas, and they were published. Even before Christopher Columbus claimed he went and discovered America, the Portuguese royal court were discussing Biafra. Duarte wrote, I'm sure the pronunciation is right, wrote in his Portuguese letters that the channel of the river, the pilot, the coastline of the land coming out into the sea, he gave the latitude to be 11 degrees north of the equator. Now, if you look at 11 degrees north of the equator, which has changed over the years due to advancements in mapping and GPS, this coordination takes us now into the north central Nigeria, which is Idoma land. Are you listening to me? This is from Portuguese archives, scientific papers that the pig doesn't know about. Mokoko. You don't know what Biafra is. It's a Portuguese name. I look at the fools and I laugh at them. They know nothing. Absolutely nothing. They said this place is the confluence at Oman, this very confluence where the water comes together, Benue River and Niger River. Hey, Elohim. So the land from Kogi down, as I have told you, Igala land. Hey, Chineke Nonyebere, a Portuguese writer, Duarte. His name is spelled D-U-A-R-T-E. The inhabitants of this country, they are called Biafraes. The spelling is B-E-A-F-A-R-E-S. Hey, Unukelem Chineke Nabinigwe. They wrote the same boundary that I told you. I told you Igala land is Biafra. I told you that Idoma land is Biafra, which is Lower Benue. I told you that was exactly the same place that God Almighty in heaven stopped the advancement of the armies of the north under Queen Amina in Zaria almost 300 years ago. Did I not tell you that? An idiot will tell me about map. They have not read. The aliens, they have not been to any library. They have not done any research. People talk rubbish. They don't know what they are talking about. They don't know what Biafra means. They don't know how deep Biafra is in the spiritual realm. They have no idea. That is why Facebook is mad now. They are crazy. But I must preach the gospel of heaven. Elohim gave me a mandate to preach. And that is exactly what I'm doing. A message from heaven to the living. Indisputable. Geography, history, politics, government, all weaved into one. Religion as well. That it. Kogi State, Benue, from where I told you, Igala land, Idoma land is Biafra. Even according to the Portuguese, they called it Biafra, yes. And we are subject of the king of the Mandingos. They were very black and many were naked and others wore cotton cloth. Hey, oh my goodness, they even bought some slaves from there. Why Elohim is angry with us. Now it is why a lot of people claim that Biafra is Portuguese name, because this Portuguese writer Duarte wrote about it, that when they came, they couldn't pronounce our name properly, which was Biafra. Afara, my village. They named it Biafra. So the land from Kogi down to the Atlantic is Biafra. Duarte wrote that the island at the mouth of this bay, being the Bight of which is Bonny, and the mainland. Now listen very carefully. They have 5 leaves. He described everything. He described, this is Portuguese, so Portuguese described everything. You know what they said? What said? He said, the inhabitants of this land are Igbo. IGBO. Not Niger Delta. Not even Ijo. Because Ijo is a subgroup of Igbo. If they make noise, I'll prove it to them that we are all one people. Everybody came from Igbo. The Portuguese wrote that they're all Igbo people. And that Buta is the language of the Bantu tribe of Cameroon, of course. It's a mix. I'll get into that later on. It is worth knowing that the Portuguese came looking for the Garden of Eden. I don't want to say this on air before they stop giving us, before they say that Biafra will not come. But let me put it to you this way. The white man saw something. That was why, one day I will tell you why they used Enugu as the capital of their administration in the east. Garden of Eden. One day I will teach you that, why Enugu was chosen. Hey, Elibe. The white man came looking for the Garden of Eden because they were told that the Garden of Eden is at the center of the world. And the center of the world is Biafra. And they came looking for it. That is why they don't want Biafra to develop. And that is why the British thinks that any day Biafra comes, that the Messiah will come. That is their fear. If you don't know, let me tell you. So when Satan goes into a Yoruba man or a Fulani man and saying walk against, anybody walking against Biafra is working for the devil. I can tell you that. It's making me to become a bit emotional. I don't want to go. There are some things about Biafra that mere mortals don't know. Unless you are in the realm, you can't see it. You're blind. It is there in all their papers. The white European, they know. They said the Garden of Eden is in Biafra land. And the British are afraid. If you give them freedom, that the world will come to an end. That was why I said that Biafra is the last miracle on this very earth. If you know what we encounter on a daily basis, you'll be shocked. You will be. In the reign of Elizabeth I, 1597, her ships came to West Africa. That was how the Portuguese and the president, they called it Biafra is. But I'm going to shock you this night from encyclopedia.com. Go to encyclopedia.com. And in encyclopedia.com, you enter Royal Niger Company. I want to tell you something. Because when Royal Niger Company came, the British decided to divide us and started to call us funny names like Niger Delta. That was how it came about. If you don't know, because the British were afraid of the word Biafra. The Biafra, when they hear it, it reminds them of the glory and the might of black people. It reminded the British of the promise that God made to black people. And the only way to keep black people down all over the world is to keep Biafra down. And that is a fact of life. That is something that we know. That is something that the whole world knows. And that is something that they are trying to keep away from you. That even when the British came with their Royal Niger Company or whatever it is. Now listen very carefully. I want to educate our people. The Royal Niger Company came, they combined their functions. This is from English Encyclopedia. Please, I want to read this thing for you. East trading prowess opened up the territories of several communities and nations with which European trade had previously been only indirect. They mentioned the Urobos, Ukwane, which is Igbo, of course, Ibibio, and Igbo in Niger Delta. You want me to repeat that? This is the British. Hey! Is the pig listening? All your upper, lower, upper Niger. Are you listening to what I'm preaching this night? I'll read it again. Urobo, Ukwane, Ibibio, and Igbo in Niger Delta. I think on that note, I bring this program to a close. I bring it to a close because we have preached this very gospel this evening. And Elohim is with us. Let no idiot come and tell you rubbish about Biafra. I will publish the maps very soon, if not tonight, tomorrow morning. All the maps we have, Biafra, as the names are changing. And let me tell you why I would bring, or Elohim will bring Biafra in my time. Do you know why? Now, I want you to go to sleep with this. Our name is BIAFRA, which is B-I-A-F-A-R-A. My name of my village. If you take away B-I, which is the calling, you have Afara left, which is where I come from. And that is not a Portuguese name. It's a Biafran name. Afara means come and join. That's the meaning of it. So Biafra means simply come and join. Are you listening? I'll publish the map. So our names have gone from Biafra, which signifies our trip from the Afar region of Ethiopia, which is why we have light-skinned people in Biafra land and no other place in the coast of West Africa. They're all black as charcoal. Only Biafrans are light. Only a Biafran woman can give birth to somebody who is white, almost white. That's why we are light-skinned. The Fulanis got their light skin by, in those days, prostituting themselves to the Moors, to the Arabs. That's how it's a mongrel race, if you don't know. We got ours on our sojourn through Ethiopia. And our name followed us, Biafra, B-I-A-F-R-A. And you know the funniest thing? This Afar region of Ethiopia has been taken over by Islam. Isn't it funny that Islam is now coming to also take over the land of Biafra? Isn't it funny? Very strange. Our name changed from Biafra to Biafraese, which was a corrupt version of Biafra. Afara is where I come from. And you know how I know that that is correct? Because that was where Biafra ended. Temporarily, that is. The last headquarters from where Ojukwu took off to Ivory Coast is in my village. In my compound. It's called Okwola Isiokwe, where you have Ojukwu bunker that BBC went to. Okwola Isiokwe means the very beginning of the people. Okwola means the very first place of that people. That was the last headquarters of Biafra, and from there, Biafra will rise once again. I thank you very much for listening. As always, we have demonstrated without any shred of doubt that Biafra is our religion. Here on radio, Biafra is where we worship. Because Elohim is our God. I thank you very much for listening. And from me, from here, it is good evening.